All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining today. We're super excited to have the Just Uno team here today. I'm AJ Davis. I am the meetup co-chair with Lori, who's also here today, but unfortunately having some internet connectivity. So Lori, if you want to say hi briefly, otherwise I will jump into things. Lori can wave. So we're excited to have a full group of folks going through some stuff from Just Uno today, talking about e-commerce and conversion rate stuff. We meet each month. We've moved this to entirely virtually since this group has grown so substantially during COVID that we felt like it would be a disservice to the community if we just moved back to in-person. But we do some in-person social events as well. So feel free to keep an eye out for those on our meetup page. If you have any topic ideas or things, like if you'd like to be involved with us, feel free to reach out. You can message me in the chat today, or you can reach out to me via email. And I think each quarter or so, we do a site teardown. So that's a great opportunity as a store owner to get that free feedback from us as experts in this area, and also for other folks to learn from our experience. So I think with that, I will hand it off to Brian.
Awesome. Happy Thursday, everybody. Just a quick shout out to Lori and AJ. We very much appreciate you having us on the call today and inviting us to the meetup group. Again, I'm Brian Ronalds. I'm the Director of Agency Partnerships, and I help lead the relationships with our top partners. Again, thank you for joining us today. And just a quick note, and I'll put this in the notes here, for any e-com businesses that are on the call today, we have a special introductory offer for those that retain Lori and Redline Minds to help with their business's return on their investment. And Just Uno would like to offer a 25% off any of our tiered services. And with that said, I'd like to introduce you to Zach Bailey. He is our hands-on strategic architect, knows all things on-site optimization and Just Uno.
Appreciate everybody for taking the time out today. My name is Zach Bailey. Really appreciate Lori and AJ and the fantastic introduction from my coworker there, Brian. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to put those into the chat. Brian or myself, as we progress through the webinar here, we'll answer those, or we'll answer those at the end. Really excited just to collaborate with everyone on the call and expose you guys to some great CRO tips and strategies that we use at Just Uno for the over 100,000+ accounts that we service monthly. One thing I always like to start off with that people ask me all the time about on-site messaging is, what's the formula there, and how can I improve my site? And so I like to keep that right up front, and it's, surface those competitive separators early, often, and reduce the conversion friction and provide those visitor values, those options, right? It's all about options, and that's going to help your site stand out from the crowd. So here, just to kind of get to know Just Uno and something about us, what we're all about is personalized on-site messaging and then optimizing that messaging, doing that through A/B testing within our system. Super easy to do. I know Kyle had mentioned data. Data's key. What would one change to the copy of my promotion, like percentage versus dollar, or mentioning free shipping in a banner, or just providing, some options for people to click on that might help direct them to sites and pages on the site that are items that they're looking for. Maybe there's customer service links that they need to look for, shipping information. All of that kind of stuff is what we're going to review today. We work with over 180,000 brands worldwide. If there's an industry here that you're wondering about, do we work with it? Click on this link. We've got you directed right to our blogs, and there's some great information about industry specific CRO tips, beauty brands, pet brands, furniture, retail brands. So we've seen a lot there. We're gonna talk about, things from lead capture to dynamic banners, intelligent product recommendations, push notifications. Let's cover everything about an on-site experience today, right? So here, what we're looking at is rules for a great on-site experience. Think of your website the same way you would think of entering a brick and mortar. Really put yourself in the shoes as a first-time visitor. So being able to review targeting, think about unique segments. If you're not sure where to start, we can think about the areas that you're investing in, the journey. Everyone is focusing on their own journey, but we try to anticipate what someone may want to see or know the next base that, as far as that segment that maybe has a certain type of rules that we're wanting to implement. What are your KPIs, or what are the KPIs that, if you're working with a client like Redline Minds, what are they focused on? Are they focused on list growth, average order value? Is it conversions? What journeys are you most focused on, or the account focused on, and what's your competitive advantage, and how can we implement that, right? So I'll pause here for a second, just open up. Is there a certain trend that anybody wants to kind of surface and say, you know what, we are really focused on list growth. We are focused on conversions.
I'll jump in first, Zach. I would say all of our clients are focused on conversion, but we've seen a big shift to focusing on conversion to subscription. It's like a big
conversion
model
to
shift.
Subscription. Absolutely. I love hearing conversion to subscription. I've seen and worked with a lot of brands recently, and even big agency brands that say, when should we target our subscriptions? Well, in Justuno, we love, like I said early, to provide options. So you can have a message for when a visitor adds that non-subscription item to their cart that surfaces and reinforces what the real value is in a subscription purchase, so that they could maybe swap that out. If they don't do it on their first purchase, but well, what have you done? You've already helped them understand that there is that option in the future. You've pushed that to the top of their mind so that they retain that, as well as if they open up a tab on their mobile and they're looking at a competitor, and that competitor doesn't mention the savings that you might get with the subscription, you have just taken one step forward in winning their mind and pushing them towards that subscription. You can also target maybe return purchasers who've only purchased that one-time product and haven't purchased a subscription, and surface some on-site messaging after maybe a page or two scrolls so that they know about that value. It's all about getting that information to them at the right part of the journey. And then in Justuno, what do? You gather that data, you make one change, and you optimize that based off of your testing. The other thing that we want to talk about is what strategies are here and what journeys. We've got the top of the funnel. How can we enhance our lead capture? How about that middle part of the funnel? AJ just mentioned it, the relevance through the personalization. I want to focus on moving people to subscriptions. Great. Then, of course, that bottom part of the funnel, that's really the foundation of our e-commerce success: cart abandonment, ROI. How do we increase those purchases? So here, what I love when we meet together in these groups and we can all be honest with each other is, what brands are you looking at? Brian and I, we meet with agencies all day and look at websites all day. We see some great brands out there, and it's really fun when people share brands with us. We'll see titles in the website URL, and we're like, I wonder what they sell. And next thing you know, we're finding out that they're selling, makeup, and we were totally thinking it was something else. So please don't hesitate to put your website or some websites that you go to all the time to look at as maybe motivation. One that we love to share here is Brightland. But if anybody has any of those, please put those in. Brian and I love to go back through the slides and look at that later. So top of the funnel, right? Making a long-lasting impression. So once a visitor lands on the site there, the first step is going to be to collect that first-party data. Are we collecting emails? Have we moved into SMS? Are you implementing that two-step form that's become so popular the last year? Are you working with an account, or is your account and your website focused on social media list growth? Justuno, I didn't know you guys could help us with that. Yeah, we partner up with a lot of different technology out there, and one of our partners can help you collect TikTok or that Instagram handle to grow your presence there. Push notifications. So here we also talk about collecting additional data points in your lead captures, traffic source, product interest. When we take a look at this example up here at the top right where it says specialty diet, keto, vegan, what I want you to be able to understand is in Justuno, when the visitor selects those, what we call product input options, if you're working with an email service provider like Klaviyo, Justuno helps to then tag that visitor information, right? That helps you send out more customized messages. You know, if Chris is going to send me information about pickleball, well, I want that information because I've indicated that, but he might be also having a product selection there where I just need to know about pickleball, maybe meetup groups or new inventory and things like that. So that would be tagged in my visitor profile. And Chris is now sending me more direct information. That's going to increase my opportunity to open that and increase your lifetime value communication opportunity with that visitor. Here's some other great examples of lead captures that have kind of gone into that advanced mode. And so I want you guys to understand that with Justuno, one of the big advantages is your design options and being able to provide people with gamification and A/B test that, you know, to see if visitors engage more with certain different types of lead captures. Hey, if I add those visitor input fields, is it going to decrease my engagement? Only way to know is to test it out. So here, when we move forward, thinking about other strategies for maybe like social media optimization, it's to mirror that creative on-site opportunity and have that more omni-channel approach. So when you're creating continuity and what we like to say, mirroring the message, this means that you want to anticipate the next action that a visitor may take if they're coming from social media and you're highlighting maybe new products that it might be the first thing that they haven't thought about or that we want them to think about when they're landing. What triggered them inside of that ad to come to your site? We want them to have that same experience. So if I see that Maddie's, and I'm following Maddie here up at this Bev in the pink example, and she mentions in her story or her reel that all her visitors and her followers get a 20% discount. I land on site and I don't see that, I'm out. I'm jumping ship. So we need to make sure that that message is mirrored. We've reduced any conversion friction, and we're also helping to direct people to pages on the site that we know are going to give us the best advantage. Maybe with first-time visitors, we have a banner with the CTA that sends them to our best sellers or sends them to a product page that we know converts at a high rate, so we can put our best foot forward. So here, we also want to talk about having your data work better and smarter for you. And so Justuno, we have a feature called Audience Sync. And what we want you to understand with Audience Sync is all of that first party and zero party data that's coming from your lead capture that's incredibly valuable. What do you do with that? We want to be able to put that back into our Facebook ads, into our Google ads, and we want to see if we can increase our return on investment and return on ad spend. And a lot of the agencies that we work with and accounts that we work with, they're moving forward with this because you can no longer rely on third-party systems to help you out with that first party and zero party data. So here, with our Audience Sync feature connected to your lead capture, you can retarget new subscribers with relevant content, prospect new customers from profitable traits, and you can increase your ROAS through more effective audiences. So we've got a great example here. If a customer comes and is browsing like kitchenware on your site and then leaves without purchasing, you can then retarget them on social media to offer similar product productions. Start this now. This is Q2, and in Q3, put your best foot forward so that you can maximize in Q4 during the holiday season. Audience Sync, it automatically through hourly hashed email syncs provides those emails into your Facebook and Google Ads Manager so that you can exclude contacts from your ads. You can fine tune who you're getting in front of and paying to visit your site. So that's really going to be an advantage for a lot of sites to investigate more. And just go to take a look at justuno.com if you want some more information on audience sync. Intelligent targeting and personalization. I'm sure you all have heard that personalization and customization over and over and over this year and this past year. It's just that relevant messages work, right? And so what we're looking at here is Cornbread Hemp. And they followed what we called a foundational approach. At Justuno, with this foundational approach, we want to target touch points during the journey where an interaction, and when we have that visitor in front of us and we want that message to resonate, we want to create a desired action. So we've got the welcome offers, we've got banners, we've got exit intent messages. But what we're looking at here is with a targeted lead capture for visitors that were coming from health.com specifically, what this was able to do was to have a website banner with a review quote and with a targeted source reference. So we're also having that social proof. So what are we doing in a very concise message? We're taking objections off the table. We're saying, we know you're coming from health.com. Here's a visitor review. Here's also that 20% discount that you saw when you came from health.com. We reduced conversion friction. We've mirrored the on-site top of funnel trigger message that caused the visitor to come here. We've made it so easy for them. We've simplified everything for our visitor. So here, when we're also looking at intuitive on-site experiences, you know, we want to be able to provide people again with easy ways to convert and to utilize the website for actions that they need in order to convert. So things like auto apply coupons are great at reducing that conversion friction. A lot of other services out there that provide on-site messages, you'll see that it's like you just have to maybe copy the code. With us in Justuno, it's really easy. You just click it and it makes you aware, hey, you've copied that. So you just paste that right into your checkout process. You know, you don't need to go and wait for an email to come in and to get that code. Why? Because we want to help push the conversion while someone's on site. Someone leaves the site and goes to their email to get the code. It helps with that email open rate. But once Zach is in his email, I'm distracted. I'm looking at all these other emails that have come in. The chance of me going back to site to use that have now been reduced. Let's do something on site. I want my digital sales assistant, Justuno, giving somebody the discount when they provide me their email or their SMS so that they can go find the product that they want and they can give me money. That's what I like. I know Brian likes that too. So remove that barrier. You know, if you're using product recommendations, like you can see here at the top, over to the right where it says add to cart, it makes it really easy to increase your average order value. It makes it really easy for you to market other products that pair well with products or increase your average order value, or just expose visitors to products and inventory that you need to move, or maybe new inventory, higher priced inventory that visitor might not have researched on their own. Adding the CTA there, again, we talk about that all the time. How do we make it easier for our customers, right from one message, to be able to add these items and get to cart? Now that we've talked about top of funnel, I want to hear from the audience. What are you struggling? Where do you see your opportunity? Are you doing lead captures? Are you doing that in a banner? Is that something that you're A/B testing? What's your opportunity? And I'll leave that up to the crowd here for someone to speak up so that we can help you. Well, I know it's a lot of information and nobody likes to be the first one to speak up about it. So we'll just start talking about the middle of the funnel. But put those questions in the chat. You know, we'll come back and we'll send those to you directly if you want to add your email or whatever LinkedIn communication handles preferred to you. So here, create a continuity, omni-channel marketing approach. You know, awareness has given the way to interest, receiving that first welcome that email, that SMS, as seen on those ads, create that on-site campaign, right? Now, let's say you didn't convert that visitor in their first session. Data shows that 50% of people visit a website, they don't convert, and most of them don't come back. So now that you do have a return visitor, let's investigate that middle part of the funnel and see where those opportunities lie. And the middle part of the funnel is that in between. It's when you have a lot of those window shoppers, right? So they've received their welcome series from that email or that SMS flow. They've seen a retargeting ad on social media, or they've even followed your social media account. Ultimately, they return to your site to continue that purchase decision. So once you've been able to expose your brand over time, now you want to have more data to personalize that experience. And you can see that Shiniest has done a great job with that. Zach sees this ad, I land on site. It's exactly what I was looking for. I'm going to go ahead and move forward on the conversion funnel. So here, when we think about these personalized recommendations, and Justuno has a great feature called our Commerce AI, but the personal recommendations are critical to use these throughout your site to nurture different segments through the buying journey. So if we take a look at these different examples here and those recommendations, the base of this breakdown is that we want to create pop-ups that sync with different points in the buying journey. So these pop-ups that target segment may have the same offer, but use more of a personalized, relevant messaging or maybe lifestyle image to buy into that segment, right? So as this example here, you can see that if I'm returning, I'm able to see that I left that item in cart. A lot of visitors, what do? They window shop, they add items to cart, so that when they come back, they're like, hey, that's what I was already looking for. But if they don't remember that to look in the cart, why don't we surface that when they land on site? You could have a delay to this, maybe after 10 seconds or one page scroll, and you say, hey, thanks for coming back. Remember these items you had? And they go, yeah, I'm not going to have to start my whole process again. I saw your ad and it triggered me to come back. Those are the items that I already found valuable. Yep, let's go ahead and check out. You've saved time, you're back to work. So the other thing that we want to do is be able to create that kind of VIP access. That's really big when growing your SMS list. Speak to people about what that value is when they're returning. Targeting people, return visitors to get on your SMS list is a great strategy. They've already come back. You can let them know that if they do join that list, they're going to be able to get information on their product shipping. And like Kyle had mentioned, maybe directly speak with the customer service rep about the status of the order or the summary. Maybe a product that was in stock last time they visited, but now it's out of stock. When is that going to come back into place? So you can also, within the Commerce AI feed, show them other like items that are in stock. Really helps to increase that same session conversion. So here in that middle part of the funnel, high intent signals, right? Include these in your promotions. You can see here, especially for the younger generation, affirm. And if you go to the Justuno website, we have thousands of clients that are using our Justuno templates to put their best foot forward as far as the design concept. And we do have templates in place that mention partners like Affirm. Why does that matter? Well, if I know, and this matters a lot now with the inflation rates going on, if I can make segmented payments on a product that I'm really excited about, that just took the objection off the table for me making that purchase. But if we don't surface it and surface it often at the right part of the journey, we're not doing ourselves any justice. So have things like this when somebody's added an item and maybe they're going to exit the site or they've gone idle, so that when they come back to your site after maybe a comparison, you have a message that persuades them and says, hey, we have Affirm, you can pay now or later, and you've just provided that information in an expedited form. They didn't have to search for it. You put it right out in front. But yeah, 31% of consumers who use buy now, pay later say that they would abandon their cart entirely if it wasn't an option. That's 31% of people. If I was running a brick and mortar and I found out that 31% of the people are going to leave my store without purchasing, you better believe I'm going to tell my sales assistant to mention we have buy now, pay later. And that's why most of the large brick and mortar stores offer that credit card. It's what they've done. Now we can mimic that in our on-site and our e-commerce experience, if that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions about buy now, pay later, or how you might use that with an e-commerce brand?
I'll just say, obviously Shopify has it, but I don't think anyone's ever used it from my perspective. It's not a huge ticket item, like $50. So I don't know how much that helps in, $50 tickets. Although the other odd thing that I've found is like my pop-up or whatever will give you an opt-in. It has a discount code. No one uses it. Like, even though people will opt in, they actually don't use the discount codes. I have like a reward thing. Nobody uses that either. They just pay full price.
Yeah, Chris, it's real interesting when you see these visitor purchase behaviors. I've had other e-commerce brands tell me, I saw that they, in the Just Uno analytics, that they clicked on the coupon code, but in Shopify, I didn't see that they used it. Sometimes they forget. Sometimes they have moved further down the conversion funnel and they just say, the price is right. There's real no rhyme or reason for that. But what I do like when I hear it's like, hey, our ticketed price items are, usually around $50, and it doesn't really provide us to do a lot of buy now, pay later. Think about bundles. Think about combining a lot of products into a like first time complete kit set. Yeah, now we've just, added a huge priced ticketed item. And then when people maybe visit that product page specifically, that's maybe when a banner would come up and you present that, hey, this is our best bundle, but we also offer a buy now, pay later. One of the coolest things you can do in Just Uno is A/B test against a control group. So you can gather information and say, 50% of the people that saw this promotion, this is what happened with the conversion. The other 50% of the people didn't see that. I understand I do need to keep that banner up. People are engaging with that, and I see my average order value's gone up when they see that banner. But it's all about data, so it's a great strategy to try. Thanks for speaking up though, Chris. So the bottom part of the funnel, oh my, that conversion, that ROI, are we making money? It is not easy, everybody. To really get somebody to convert, the competition is increasing every day. But when you're doing on-site messaging, and from the hundreds of thousands of clients that I've consulted with, that Brian has helped work with for them to grow their website or see a return on their investment, it all comes back down to, are we getting people to convert? So these strategies for preventing exiting or people that are abandoning, these are keys to those bottom of the funnel touch points. So starting with shipping thresholds, for me, when I visit a website and I see that they have maybe a static banner that states, hey, $50 in cart will get you free shipping, visit the Just Uno template library. We have an AOV lift banner. It provides a little bit of a gamification where it dynamically reads the visitor's cart and it lets them know now Zach is only $25 away from unlocking free shipping. But the great thing about that is I could have a secondary banner once Zach achieves free shipping that says, you know what, Zach, if you had $300 in cart, we could actually give you 15% off today. So now we've provided visitors with an additional value option that our competitors might not have, to just say, if you spend more with us, you get more. And Chris had mentioned the rewards program. That's another great strategy. Hey, surface that someone's achieved free shipping, but we also have a rewards program. And sometimes you just have to keep on pushing that. Return visitors that have made purchase. Go ahead, Chris, you look like you got some great feedback on that.
I was just going to say, I don't know, this, again, it's all unique, I guess, but like my experience is like the shipping thing, for 3 months, I like specifically my main products like that everyone will buy is $45. So I had it like free shipping at $50 to try to get people to buy a pair of socks or something just to add on to get free shipping. Like never worked. Like people didn't even mind paying shipping. Like they're like, fine, I'll just pay shipping. Some people would pay a couple extra dollars for whatever expedited shipping. Is crazy. So that obviously didn't work. But the one thing that did work is I have like this bundler app. So it's like basically buy two and get a pretty good discount. And that's actually works. Just my experience, the bundling of buy two, get a discount, people will do that.
I love hearing that kind of story, Chris. You just hit the nail on the head, which is I needed to surface a message to somebody that had only the $5 away from shipping, that if they took advantage of a bundling opportunity, right, it's going to get them free shipping. But also me as the owner, the e-commerce owner, I've increased my AOV. So that's what we see a lot of our brands and our partners do, is when somebody has an amount that's under the free shipping amount and they have an item in cart, you surface a message and you use the Commerce AI feature to say, hey, add one of these or swap it out for a bundle, you'll get free shipping, but all of that is included in your copy. And then what you do is you A/B test that against a different version that has a different message copy, and you see which one's working. Like I love saying, this is like having two sales assistants on my website, and I'm telling one of them to show some items and say this, the other one I'm saying show these items and say that. Which one's working better? That's what brick and mortars have done for years, and that's what e-commerce brands need to do. Chris, great example. I love hearing that. I'm glad it worked out for you. Visitors want free shipping. Sometimes they just see, they're only $5 away. They don't take advantage of it. Why? They like your products a lot. They don't care about the free shipping, but that's, like you said, not the case for everybody. Does anyone else have a great example or a story like that? No worries.
We did get a different question that I'd love to surface here, which is, one of the things that we hear a lot is, what's the trade-off for how many times we can pop something up versus what the overall impact is of that. So what have you guys been seeing in terms of like customer tolerance for things that pop up and interrupt the journey versus where those are beneficial?
That's a really good question. I love that question. So what we recommend in Just Uno is you're going to want to have your, let's say, lead capture pop up one time per session, right? And then in Just Uno, because we have over 80 different specific targeting rules, you can say, if someone saw my lead capture, I don't want to show an exit offer. I'm going to only then focus on like the very bottom part of the journey, which is maybe show them a cart abandoned. If they actually add an item, they made it to the cart, I'll show that promotion. So you can do a lot of targeting and control that. But I would say you're only going to want to show one type of visitor journey message specific to that visitor journey. So you don't want to show an exit offer like 3 times. You don't want to continue to show a lead capture, multiple times in the same session. So I would definitely recommend showing one type of message in that journey per visit. If it's like a banner, the great thing with the banners is they travel around with visitors. And so that would be one that I would say you do want to expose to people, because that might be things, like I said, that have a CTA to say, click here to see our sales products, or it's providing what that threshold is for the free shipping. Maybe have our text scrolling feature, our text ticker that has a static customer review that's scrolling up at the top, so that you're reinforcing that other people have already found that experience that they're looking for with your products. But the great thing is with Just Uno, you can test against a control group and say, you know what, I'm showing this cart abandoner 2 times and I'm seeing that my exits have increased. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move my rule down to just show it 1 time. I hope that provided some feedback and was a good response for you.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Zach.
Sure. So here, when we look at this, if you're a brand who has maybe a brick and mortar, or your products are at a brick and mortar. I know I worked with a barbecue spice company that's out in Salado, Texas, small little town, but they've got a lot of their products in these small convenience stores. In Texas, a lot of driving happens, and we go through the hill country and there's all these small gas stations. And so if I go to that barbecue spice website and I leave my email with them, I can actually provide my zip code. What does that do? That helps them geo-target me with specific on-site messaging to say, hey, our products are actually in this area. You're in that area, and you can stop by this store. That's a very customized message that relates specific to me. So being able to geo-target, if you do have your items at brick and mortar, is a great way to say, hey, we just took some new supplies or added new inventory to that brick and mortar. Go check them out if you don't want to buy from us today and you want to really get your hands on our product, if that makes sense. Again, we'll look at this here is your work is just beginning once they've converted, right? And you've laid the ground to now scale. So again, when we think about this, being able to use additional high value opt-ins on like thank you pages, email subscribers to drive that SMS like we talked about. They've made a purchase, now reintroduce the ability for you to, on their return visit, thank them for coming back and let them know why adding their SMS or their email to your website is going to be a VIP experience, right? Chris had mentioned loyalty programs. You've got to surface it often. You've got to have different messages to see if you can direct people to that. Like Chris had mentioned, I would have an on-site message that might say or have a static review of someone saying, you know what, I've got like 500 points from this website. I just purchased X and I'm more than excited to have used my points. One of the main reasons I go to a local restaurant here is because they provide us with points, but I had to be given that word of mouth from a friend of mine on what that advantage was. So sometimes we need to provide a little bit more context into how the rewards work. How easy is it? What can I purchase with that? And then hear that somebody else is enjoying that. We all follow what other people do. And when we find out that they're experiencing good things from that, we're more likely to do that. That's just human psychology. On average, consumers will check this page, 5 times before receiving that package. So having messaging there is important. Product recommendations, again, opt-ins, geo-targeting, there's a lot that you can do when we're talking about that post-purchase engagement. In Justuno, we can do something called an in-page promotion, and on your thank you page in Shopify, we can actually target that, and you can have a message that populates there for them to leave their SMS, or if you want to expose them with the Commerce AI to maybe items that they'll come back and purchase next time. So here, when we take a look again at the bottom of the funnel to the top of the funnel, we can see that just like that, it's time to begin again and use this to improve the customer experience from that email or the SMS with sending out new product alerts based on that purchase history, personalized recommendations based on what you know about them. Hey, Zach, we know that you purchased those socks. Have you seen that we just added a hat, to match that outfit? Reflecting other offers that were sent. Someone lands here, they see that we've got the shop 123 code. Have that travel around with them in a banner. They'll close the first promotion maybe when they land, but if you reinforce that, that's just reinforcing what's going on during them moving further down the conversion funnel. You want to try to find ways to have those first-time customers become repeat customers. One of the best things you can do in Justuno is UTM targeting. So if you've got email flows that are going to visitors that have made that first-time purchase, just grab that UTM that's inside of your email flow, put that in a targeted rule in Justuno. It's just a copy and paste. So when those visitors come back, you thank them and you provide them with maybe product options that they haven't seen before. They can click on a CTA and they can see new inventory. Maybe you want to send them to items that are priced a little bit higher, or do like what Chris mentioned. We put a bundle together. That's something they didn't know about. That is pretty much the spiel today. I know we've got about 14, 15 minutes left here in the presentation. I just want to be able to open up the floor to any questions. We go through a lot of this information. Sometimes some of it's connecting, and sometimes we just have to use real life examples like the ones that Chris surfaced. And so if there's anything that you have questions about, or maybe want a more personalized or use case example for, let's surface it now. But I really want to say thank you for taking the time out. Thank you to Redline Minds. It's been great working with them. I've seen some fantastic results from the work that agency does. And Lori and AJ are just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to e-commerce and getting to be a part of your community. I'm from Austin, so if you see me running around at a Barton Springs or maybe a barbecue place here, don't stop to tap me on the shoulder and introduce yourself and say hi. And I'm always on LinkedIn posting tips too. So reach out to myself or Brian or anybody at Just Uno.
Zach, thanks so much for the presentation. We do have another question for you. If you were to say, if there were one thing you would want the audience to take away today, is there one idea that works almost every time and adds value?
That's a great question. The number one thing that I would say I've seen most of my accounts do is definitely have a lead capture up where you're gathering that first party data so that you can continue to reach out. Most visitors are going to come to site. They're going to leave. So if you can grab that email, that's going to be a huge advantage. You know, just to give you a little icing on the cake, you'll see my good friend here, Chris, his emails here. He can go through so many great use case examples. He can look at your website, reach out to him. One of the things I know he loves is talking about that AOV banner and being able to show people how impactful that is. Most websites will have a static banner, but being able to really have that dynamic banner that we offer can really provide you with data to improve that AOV. And then again, you're A/B testing that to see if you can increase the conversions while increasing your average order value.
And just a follow up on that, Zach, what would you recommend, starting with email or SMS or, both in that first pop-up and grabbing the second one later?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend moving forward with an SMS provider at this stage. I think it's 97% of SMS messages are opened. From the SMS providers that I've heard from, visitors love being able to communicate, ask about their products, where the status is of that, receive those updates for discounts and sales. But I would definitely say have your email first and then have your SMS follow that up. And at Just Uno, we've got templates. So if you want to just use one of those, what we call two-step forms, it's already there. You just need to connect your Klaviyo or your SendLane or your favorite email service provider and your SMS provider like PostScript.
Thanks so much, Zach. We really appreciate you being on. We will be posting this to YouTube. So for anyone who's now watching it as a rewatch, if you wanted to, post as a comment in YouTube or reach out via email through Just Uno's team as well, we can be happy to connect you. Thank you guys all for being on today. We really appreciate it. We learned a lot from your presentation, and thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a great week and an awesome weekend.
All right. See everybody next month. Take care.
Take care.